The streets of the city glimmered under the weight of rain, lanterns flickering on crooked walls, puddles reflecting fragments of broken light. In the silence of the night, Amin walked with a heart heavier than his feet. Once he had been a merchant, known by name, trusted by many. Now he was only another shadow, forgotten by the crowd, worn down by debts, hunger, and loneliness. His hands trembled, not from the cold, but from the ache of uncertainty. Where would food come from tomorrow? Where was the end of this road? Yet within his chest, like a faint candle struggling against the wind, there was still faith. He remembered his mother's words from long ago. "My son, when the world abandons you, remember the one who never abandons." And so Amin whispered quietly to himself, "La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah." There is no power nor might except with Allah. That night, as he passed a narrow alley, he saw an old man struggling to carry a heavy bundle of firewood. The man staggered, almost falling. Amin's stomach was empty, his clothes soaked, but something inside him pulled him forward. He hurried and lifted the burden from the old man's back. The man looked at him with surprise, then with gratitude. "May Allah reward you," he said. "May Allah ease your path as you have eased mine." Amin smiled faintly, unaware that this simple act of kindness was the first thread in a story that would change his life. Days passed, and Amin's struggles grew. Hunger gnawed at him. The world seemed deaf to his prayers. One evening, as he sat beneath a broken arch, the rain dripping steadily around him, despair pushed into his chest. He cried silently, "Oh Allah, I am weak. I am lost. I have nothing but you. If this is a test, grant me patience. If this is a door, then open it for me with your mercy." His tears mixed with the rain, and in that moment he felt a strange calmness descend, as though unseen wings sheltered him from the storm. The next morning, while searching for any work to fill his day, Amin saw a small child crying by the roadside. The boy's sandals were torn, and his face was streaked with dirt. In his tiny hands, he clutched a coin, and between sobs, he explained he had lost the bread he was sent to buy. Amin's stomach tightened at the thought of food, but he placed his last coin into the boy's hand and wiped his tears. "Go, buy your bread and do not cry." The child ran off, smiling. Amin sat down, empty-handed again, but strangely at peace. That same evening, as the sky turned crimson, Amin wandered near the mosque. An elderly man, blind and frail, tapped his cane helplessly at the edge of the road. Without hesitation, Amin took his arm and guided him across. The man thanked him warmly. "What is your name, young man?" "Amin," he replied. The man smiled and said, "May Allah protect you, Amin. People may forget your kindness, but Allah never forgets." One night, not long after, Amin found a leather wallet soaked in the mud. Inside were coins, more than he had seen in months. His heart pounded. Hunger, debt, and desperation shouted within him. This money could change everything. He gripped it tightly, then slowly, with trembling hands, whispered, "Allah sees." He turned toward the mosque and announced he had found a lost wallet. Soon a man came rushing in, pale and anxious, searching for what he had lost. When Amin handed it back, his eyes filled with tears. "You returned it? Bless you. This was all I had to pay my debts. You saved me." The man left, but another figure who had been watching stepped forward. A dignified man in a clean coat. "Were you the one who returned that wallet?" he asked. "Yes," Amin said softly. The man nodded. "That old man is my father. Come tomorrow to my workshop. I need someone honest like you." Amin's eyes widened. For the first time in years, a door had opened. The following morning, Amin arrived at the workshop. The scent of fresh wood filled the air. The man, whose name was Yasin, gave Amin a box of coins. "Take this to the supplier, pay him, and return with the receipt." As Amin held the money, whispers crept into his mind. "Run away. All your problems solved." But he shook his head and whispered, "Allah sees. That is enough." He delivered the payment honestly and returned with everything correct. Yasin smiled. "My father was right," he said. "You are the risk I was praying for." Days turned to weeks, and Amin worked diligently. His hunger was replaced with steady meals, his loneliness softened by the kindness of Yasin's family. Each night, he fell asleep with Alhamdulillah on his lips. One dawn, he climbed to the rooftop of the workshop and watched the sky bleed from black to gold, birds rising into the light. He whispered, "Alhamdulillah, you never left me." Years passed, and Amin grew in trust and skill, eventually becoming a partner in the workshop. People began to know him again, but not as the merchant he once was. They knew him as the man whose honesty never bent, whose patience lit the way for others. Children would run to him, neighbors would seek his counsel. When asked how he found peace after such hardship, he would reply, "I thought my trials were punishment, but I learned they were doors." Every hardship was a door of mercy. Every loss was a path to something greater. The world closes its hand, but Allah opens His. In his old age, Amin gathered his children and grandchildren around him. He raised his hands and made dua. "O Allah, just as you carried me through nights of hunger and days of fear, carry my family through their storms. Just as you opened for me the doors of mercy, open for them doors of light in this world and in the hereafter. O Allah, do not let our hearts swerve after you have guided us, and grant us from yourself mercy. Truly, you are the bestower." Tears filled the eyes of his family. They felt the weight of his sincerity, and they saw with their own eyes how Allah transforms the broken into lanterns of hope. His story became a reminder for all who face despair, hunger, or loneliness. Allah is nearer than the jugular vein. His mercy descends in ways we cannot count. With every hardship comes ease. Remember this truth. When you feel abandoned, you are not alone. When the world closes its doors, Allah opens His. And when you think you have reached the end, it may only be the beginning of His mercy. So hold fast to patience. Give even when you have little. Trust even when you do not see the way forward. For the one who raised the mountains and spread the seas can lift your burdens and open horizons you never dreamed of. And when that ease comes, as it surely will, fall in prostration and whisper, "Alhamdulillah." All praise belongs to Allah, the one who turns sorrow into strength, darkness into light, and trials into the sweetest of victories.